You were mid-sentence. You had it. The thought was right there. Fully formed. Ready to go. You opened your mouth. And it was gone. Not faded. Not blurry. Gone. Like it was never there at all. You've done this thousands of times. Everyone has. And almost everyone assumes the same thing. They got distracted. They're getting older. Their memory is slipping. But that explanation is almost entirely wrong. Because forgetting what you were about to say isn't a memory failure. It's your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's what's actually happening. When a thought forms in your mind, it doesn't get saved anywhere. Not immediately. It exists in something called working memory, a temporary mental workspace that holds information just long enough for you to use it. Think of it less like a hard drive and more like a whiteboard. It can hold a surprising amount, but only for a few seconds, and it has one critical weakness. It can be wiped clean by a doorway. This sounds absurd, but in 2011, psychologist Gabriel Radvansky at the University of Notre Dame ran a series of experiments that produced one of the strangest findings in cognitive science. He had participants walk through a series of rooms, picking up objects and placing them in boxes. Sometimes they walked across the same room to do it. Sometimes they passed through a doorway. When they crossed through a doorway, they were 3 times more likely to forget what they were carrying, even when the distance traveled was exactly the same. He called it the event boundary effect. Your brain doesn't experience life as one long, continuous stream. It experiences it as a series of episodes. And every time you move from one environment to another, every doorway, every room change, every new context, your brain closes the current episode and opens a new one. The whiteboard gets wiped. Whatever was on it gets cleared to make room for what comes next. This isn't a glitch, it's a feature. Your brain is constantly deciding what to prioritize. Carrying old mental context into new environments would slow you down. It would clutter the workspace with information that no longer applies. So your brain clears it automatically, unconsciously, with ruthless efficiency. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between a trivial thought and an important one. It doesn't know you were in the middle of something. It doesn't know you needed that. It just sees a new room, and it resets. But doorways aren't the only thing that does this. Every time your attention shifts, your brain treats it like an event boundary. A notification, a new conversation, looking down at your phone, someone walking into the room. Each one of those is a doorway, a physical one, but a cognitive one. And the thought you were holding? It didn't survive the crossing. Now here's where it gets personal. You've probably noticed it gets worse when you're stressed, when you're tired, when you have 17 things running in the background of your mind. That's because working memory has a hard limit. In the 1950s, psychologist George Miller published a paper that became one of the most cited in the history of cognitive science. He found that the average human working memory can hold roughly 7 pieces of information at once, give or take 2. That's it, 7 slots. And every unfinished task, every unresolved worry, everything you're trying not to forget, it takes up a slot. By the time you walk into a room, distracted, stressed, and overstimulated, your whiteboard might already be nearly full. There was no room for the thought to survive the doorway. This is why writing things down works so much better than you expect it to. It's not just a reminder, it's offloading from a limited workspace onto an unlimited one. It frees up a slot. It lets your brain breathe. And it means the thought no longer has to survive the crossing. But there's one more piece, and it might change how you see the whole problem. The thoughts you forget most easily, they're almost never the ones that matter most. Deep fears, vivid memories, things tied to strong emotion, those get encoded differently. They get anchored. Your brain flags them and holds them far more reliably than the idle thought you had while walking to the kitchen. The things that slip through the doorway are almost always surface level, pass no stakes, which means the forgetting isn't random. Your brain is quietly running a filter, and most of the time, it's right. Most of what you forget in doorways didn't need to survive. The idea that genuinely mattered, the thing with real weight behind it, tends to come back. Maybe not immediately, maybe it takes a minute. But it returns, because something in you held onto it, even when the whiteboard cleared. So the next time you're standing in a room with absolutely no idea why you walked in, don't panic. Don't assume something is wrong. Your brain just closed a chapter. If what you were carrying was worth keeping, it'll find its way back. And if it doesn't, maybe it was never really yours to hold on to in the first place.